is when the 8th Imam was forced out of the city of Medina, and he was brought to the region of Khurasan or Marwa or Tus, is different names for the region and the city and so on and so forth. So at this time, Ma'mun al-Abbasi forced the Imam to come and lead Eid Salat. Of course, the condition of the 8th Imam in accepting to becoming the crown prince, which was unprecedented when it came to any of the other of the Imams, his conditions was that he would not engage in the politics. He would not be involved. It would just be something for show because Ma'mun had forced him at that point. Yes. So Ma'mun came forward and said, listen, you have to lead the Eid Salat. So the Imam rejected this, but he insisted. He said it would be good because people understand and they value this day, and this day is so important for them. And if you have the opportunity to lead, this will be better for the Muslim Ummah. Yes. So the Imam, eventually, he was forced to accept. But he said, on one condition, I will lead the Salat on the condition that I lead it the way the Messenger of Allah used to lead it, and I will lead it the way Ali ibn Abi Talib will lead it. Allah salawat for both of them. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil fil jannah. So Ma'mun allowed this. Do as you wish. So what was the Imam trying to get at? This Eid had lost its spirit for many, many years. For many years, and this is for you and I, for many years, Eid al-Qurban was for show. For many years, Eid al-Qurban had become just a festival. For many years, Eid al-Qurban had become a time where the Khalifa comes with the officials and the governmental individuals and they show off their wealth. And even today, sometimes you see this has become the spirit of it. So who can dress fancier? Who can come and present their beauty more? Yes, who can have the more lavish gathering? So the Imam wanted to revive the spirit of the Salat of the Messenger of Allah and the atmosphere that the Messenger of Allah had on Eid al-Qurban. So he said, I will lead the way the Messenger of Allah used to lead. Ma'mun accepted this. So the narrator says, the day before Eid was supposed to come, the 8th Imam came to his close companions. He said, tomorrow you will wear beautiful clothing, but simple clothing. Presentable clothing, but not extravagant clothing. Simple, yes, but presentable. So simple clothing. And he told them that you would uncover your ankles and your wrists. What does this mean? This means from the clothing that they were wearing, yes, the Imam had to flip up a little bit from his lower clothing so that the ankles are showing. And the same from the wrists. Why? Because at that time, if you were wealthy and you wanted to be arrogant and you wanted to boast your wealth, what would you do? You had clothing and cloth that would run long. It would run long over your hands and it would run long behind yourself. Yes? So that's why the Ahlul Bayt, when they wanted to show humility, they said, no, we are going to leave for Eid Salat and the clothing is going to be short. That's the most humble way of presenting myself. And of course, day and age has changed and it's a little bit different for us today, yes? But at that time, that's what they used to do. And then he said, when I say the adhkar, you're going to say the adhkar with me. So the narrator says the Imam came. Now imagine, outside of the house, all the officials have gathered and they've all come in their fancy clothes. And they've all come in their official gear. And the narrations say they had gold and silver on themselves. And they had gold and silver hanging from their horses. And they had worn their special boots. Why? Because Eid al-Qurban and Eid in general was for show. So now they've come for show. So the narrator says the Imam came out of his room into the house. And we saw how he looks. So humble. We're not used to this. And he began saying the takbirat. And the narrator says, I felt as if the doors and the walls are saying takbir with us. So then he turned to us. He said, this is how we will leave for Eid today. So they opened the doors to the house. And the first step that the Imam took out, all of a sudden, people began crying because it was a shocking moment for them. Maybe because these khulafa were ruling for so long, people had not seen the spirit of Eid al-Qurban for so long. Shocked. Maybe it's bringing back memories from what they've heard of from the time of the Prophet of Allah. So the narration says he left the house and he stood at the door and he began giving takbirat, and everyone started reciting the takbirat with the Imam. And the officials who had come and all the wealthy who had come, they began taking off their clothes. They began removing their gold and silver. They began pulling it off of the horses. They themselves got off of the horses. Why? Because they saw the Imam has come barefoot. Now, this is Eid al-Qurban. This is what Eid al-Qurban is. I'm coming, of course I dress in a presentable way, but at the very deepest level, it's my time to show God my servitude. They saw he's barefoot. The history says they started to rip off their boots. Some of them couldn't do it fast enough. They asked for knives to cut the laces, to get it off themselves. Why? Because the contrast is too heavy now. It's too obvious. The one who's leading Salat has come like this, and then you're the one who's behind him, and you're like from a different world altogether. So the narration says, the eighth Imam, then he began to move towards outside of the town. And this is very customary, because inside of the town, they didn't usually have enough room and space. So they used to go outside of the town, and every time the Imam gave takbir, so many people gave takbir with him, that of course Ma'mun sent his troops immediately and asked the Imam to cancel the Eid Salats. Why? Because his consultant, Fadl ibn Sahl, said, if Abul Hasan, if Ali ibn Musa Ridha makes his way to Eid, and by the time he comes back, he will have enough people to start a riot against you. You might as well go and end this right now. So he went and he asked the eighth Imam to go back to his house. He said, we've bothered you enough. You can go back to your house. He didn't want to see that anymore. This is the spirit of Eid in the eyes of the eighth Imam. Salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi.